Yeah, hello everyone. In our last video, we have seen determinants of market as well as determinants of individual demand. So we have tried to understood that what are the factors which determines the demand, individual as well as market. Now moving forward to the next topic, this is law of demand. And whenever you are, keeping this topic in your mind, remember one thing, this is a law which is checked by the economist. They have verified this and that is why it has become a law. So it is one of the important principle, of the economics, as it has been checked, proved. And what this says now, because whenever we are saying law of demand, that means it cannot change. It has been verified, it has been checked, it has been analyzed, it has been seen into the market. That is why it is one of the most important principles. So law of demand says that there is an inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded, or price and demand, keeping other factors constant. Right? So we will see that yes. So it says that there is an inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded, keeping other factors constant. And the line which you are studying, you can see here, keeping other factors constant. In books, it is, mentioning by one another word which is called ceteris paribus. So ceteris paribus also means that keeping other factors constant. Now, whenever we are talking about law, it is showing the relationship between two components. One is price and the another one is quantity demanded, or the demand. Now, we are actually trying to see impact of one commodity onto the other. So when we are trying to see the impact of one commodity onto the other one, we need to keep other factors constant. Otherwise, other factors will also participate and we will not be able to understand the relationship between these two. So what are the assumptions? We will assume that the price of substitute goods is not changing, do not change. Whenever the law of demand, whenever we are seeing the relationship between price and demand, the price of substitute goods do not change. Price of complementary goods do not change, remain constant. Income of the consumer remains same. Also, we will assume that income is not increasing or decreasing. There is no expectation of change in the future, and taste and preferences of the consumer also remains the same. Right? So I think you are able to understand why we have keep the other factors constant, because otherwise we will not be able to establish any relationship between price and quantity demanded. So the next question was that why other factors are kept constant, and you are pretty able to analyze the answer in your mind. Now moving forward, there are some important facts about law of demand. I'll explain one by one that why this law of demand is verified, why this law of demand has come. The first reason is that it is being analyzed that the price and demand has an inverse relationship from the consumer side, because whenever the price keeps on decreasing, the customer actually demands for more quantity. Okay? And it has been seen that the price and demand has an inverse relationship. So this is the important fact of law of demand. Second, qualitative, not quantitative. Yes, very well, explained. Like it says that whenever we are studying law of demand, it always tells us the direction that, okay, price decrease, quantity increase, price increase, quantity decrease. So if you just recall the diagram which I explained you in the previous videos, it only shows me the direction, of the curve, whether the curve will be steeper or curve will be flatter. It is not telling me that how much change will be there in the price, and if there is a change in price is 10%, what will be the change in the quantity demanded. It is not telling me anything in numbers. So it is only telling the qualitative performance of the two factors, not quantitative performance. No proportional relationship. Yes, we are not working on any quantitative relationship. So we are not analyzing any kind of proportional relationship, that how much change is there in the price which is going to impact on the change of the demand. And one-sided. Yes, very true. Because we only work on and see the analysis of price change on demand. We are never seeing, or we are never talking about change of demand on the price. So it is one-sided, change of price on demand, not change of demand on price. So we just see the impact of change in price onto the change in quantity demanded. It's only one-sided. So these are the important facts about law of demand. Now, based on the theories which we have studied till now, which one of these is determinant of individual demand? What do you think? There are 4 things mentioned here: size and composition, season and weather, distribution of income, or none of these. Size and composition of population actually. So the first point is size and composition of population, not demand. So what do you think? What is the determinant of individual demand? Just think about it. What were the determinants of individual demand? Price of given commodity, price of related commodity, income of the buyer, taste and preferences, right? So these are the determinants of what? These are the determinants of market demand. So the answer will be none of these, right? So I think if you are able to give me the answer of, if you have given the answer to yourself, you will be able to understand that what are the determinants of individual and market demand. Now, one more question based on the last video, and like you will be able to see it, give me the answer as well. That which one of the following will be the example of complementary goods? Can you just tell me what are the complementary goods? Complementary goods are those goods which are used together. So just think about it. First, tea and coffee. Are these the complementary goods? No. Tea and coffee are the substitute goods. Coke and Pepsi? No. These are not again complementary goods because they can be used in place of each other. Rice and wheat? No. This is also not a kind of complementary goods because it is not necessary that with the wheat we have to use rice. So the answer is again none of these. Right? So I think you are able to understand complementary goods which are used together and the substitute goods which are used in place of each other. So now the next is change in quantity demanded. This is one of the most important topic, and generally students are confused that whenever we talk about what is the movement along the demand curve and what is change in quantity demanded, these two concepts are same. I'll tell you one thing and just keep this in your mind. Whenever there is one term, given commodity, say given commodity is tea, right? When I am saying that the price of tea increases and the demand of tea decreased, so I am only and only checking the demand of tea due to the change in price. Yeah, I am only seeing the impact of price change onto the demand of tea. तो demand of tea को check करने के लिए which factor I am taking into my concern? Only price, right? So when the change in quantity demanded takes place due to the change in its own price of the commodity, given commodity, it is called change in quantity demanded. I think you could see here that when the quantity demanded of a commodity changes due to a change in its own price, obviously keeping other factors constant, so that is called change in quantity demanded. Now, when you just see this graph, I think in bracket also I have mentioned that change in quantity demanded and movement along the demand curve are two similar concepts. As I told you in earlier videos as well, that on x-axis we will write quantity demanded, as well on y-axis we will write price. We will simply see, जहाँ मैं arrow ले जा रही हूँ, you just see there, this is the price and this is the quantity demanded. This is the price and this is the quantity demanded. When the price increases from P to P2, price बढ़ गया, you could see the price is increased from P to P2. The quantity which was earlier Q is now decreased. And when the price decreased to P1, the quantity increased from Q to Q1. So, all the changes are taking place but on a same demand curve. right? So when the arrow is upward, that means the quantity is contracted basically. So we will say that contraction in demand. Demand is reduced. When the quantity is increased from Q to Q1, the arrow is downward. So this is called downward in demand. Now, one more word we generally use. When the quantity is increased, we say this expansion in demand. So, downward shows expansion in demand as well as upward shows contraction in demand. But this is all happening on the same demand curve because we are only concerned about the quantity demanded just to change because of change in the given commodity, and the commodity is same. So I think this concept is clear to you. Now moving forward, change in demand. Now this is the another concept. This says that when apart the price of the commodity, we are now seeing here the impact of other factors onto the demand. And this concept is also called shift. So now we are not only talking about the price is just keep it away. Okay? So we are now seeing the impact, the change in quantity demanded due to change in other factors. In the first one, what happened? We have kept the other factors constant. Now, we will be only seeing the impact of other factors onto the quantity demanded, and that thing is also called shift in the demand curve. So now just see the graphical representation of this. If again x-axis quantity demanded, y-axis price, right? Now I am talking about, for an example, tea. So when the price of tea was 4,000, the quantity demanded was 5. Right? Itna samajh mein aaya? I think you are able to understand. When the price of tea was 4,000, the quantity demanded was 5. Now suppose I say to you that the related commodity, say substitute good, coffee. Price increased. The coffee price increased. What will happen? People will stop purchasing coffee because the price is increased, and people will now increase the demand of tea. So the demand curve will shift rightward. Earlier this was the demand curve, and we are assuming that this is the demand curve of, this is the shift curve of tea. हम ये assume कर रहे हैं, this is the demand curve of tea. So when the price of coffee increase, what will happen? People will stop purchasing coffee and they will now demand for tea. So this will be a rightward shift. Now suppose the price of coffee decreased. What will happen? People will demand more of coffee, and now the demand for tea will reduce. So this will be a leftward shift, right? So due to changes in the related commodity, the demand curve of given commodity shift rightward and leftward, and this is called shift. So other than the price, we are seeing the impact of other factors. Shift can be seen, by the changes in related goods, by the change in income, by the change in taste and preferences, as well as by the change of other factors which we have studied as a determinant of individual demand. So you are able to understand this concept. And now I'll just stop my video here and just tell you quickly what we have covered in this. So we have covered law of demand. We have covered law of demand. We have covered why other factors kept constant. We have seen the important facts about law of demand. We have also seen the change in quantity demanded, movement along the demand curve, change in demand, shift in demand curve. So thank you so much. If you have any query, I have just mentioned my email ID, and whatever queries you are having, you can mail me. Thank you so much.